Good morning, brothers and sisters. I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Walking in Yah's Way. And the last few weeks, actually months, it's been since I've had a hard time getting to these videos. We're doing the book of Jubilees, and we've been walking through the chapters. Today we're going to approach chapter 13. In this chapter we have Abram's journey from Haran to Shechem in Canaan, also to Hebron and to Egypt. Also he returns to Canaan, where Lot separates from him and receives the promise of Canaan and journeys to Hebron. Also we have Chedorlaomer's attack on Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot is taken captive, pardon me. Also, the law of tithes is enacted in this particular chapter. So, let's get to it. Let's see, chapter 13, starting with verse 1, Book of Jubilees. I hope you enjoy this. And Abram journeyed from Haran, and he took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother Haran's son, to the land of Canaan. And he came to Ashur, and proceeded to Shechem, and dwelt near the lofty oak. And he saw, and behold, the land was very pleasant, from the entering of Hamath to the lofty oak. And Yahweh said to him, To thee and to thy seed I give this land. And he built an altar there, and he offered thereon a burnt sacrifice to Yahweh, who had appeared to him. And he removed from thence unto the mountain Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east, and he pitched his tent there. And he saw, and behold, the land was very wide and good, and everything grew thereon, vines and figs and pomegranates, oaks and A.L.Ks and terebinth, and oil trees, and cedars, and cypresses, and date trees, and all trees of the field, and there was water on the mountains. And he blessed Yahuwah and said, and he blessed Yahuwah, who led him out of Ur of the Chaldees, and had brought him to this land. And it came to pass in the first year of the 7th week, on the new month, the very first month, that he built an altar on this mountain, and called on the name of Yahweh. Thou, the eternal Yahweh, art my Yahweh. And he offered on the altar a burnt sacrifice unto Yahweh, that he should be with him and not forsake him all the days of his life. And he removed him thence, and went toward the south, and he came to Hebron. And Hebron was built at that time, and he dwelt there 2 years. And he went thence to the land of the south, to Bethoah, and there was a famine in the land. And Abram went to Egypt in the 3rd week, in the 3rd year of the week, and he dwelt in Egypt 5 years before his wife was torn away from him. Now Tanis in Egypt was at that time built 7 years after Hebron. Tanais, pardon me for that pronunciation, Tanais in Egypt. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh seized Sarai, the wife of Abram, and Yahweh plagued Pharaoh, and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Abram was very glorious by reason of possessions in sheep and cattle and asses and horses and camels and men servants and maid servants, and in silver and gold exceedingly. And Lot also, his brother's son, was wealthy. And Pharaoh gave back Sarai, the wife of Abram, and he sent him out of the land of Egypt. And he sojourned in the place where he had pitched his tent in the beginning, to the place of the altar, with Ai on the east, and Bethel on the west. And he blessed Yahuwah, his God, who had brought him back in peace. And it came to pass in the 41st Jubilee, in the 3rd year of the first week, that he returned to this place and offered thereon a burnt sacrifice, and called on the name of Yahweh, and said, Thou most high God, art my God forever and ever. And in the 4th year of this week, Lot parted from him, and Lot dwelt in Sodom. And the men of Sodom were sinners exceedingly, and it grieved him in his heart that his brother's son had parted from him, for he had no children. In that year, when Lot was taken captive, Yahuwah said unto Abram, after that Lot had parted from him, in the 4th year of this week, Lift up thine eyes from the place where thou art dwelling northward and southward, and westward and eastward. For all the land which thou seest I will give to thee and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the sand of the sea. Though a man may number the dust of the earth, yet thy seed shall not be numbered. Arise, walk through the land, in the length of it and in the breadth of it, and see it, for to thy seed will I give it. And Abram went to Hebron and dwelt there. And in this year came Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and Amphrael, the king of Shinar, and Ironic, king of Selasar, and Turgal, king of nations, and slew the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Sodom fled, and many fell through wounds in the vale of Siddim, by the salt sea. And they took captive Sodom and Adam and Zeboim, and they took captive Lot also, the son of Abram's brother, and all his possessions, and they went to Dan. And one who had escaped came and told Abram that his brother's son had taken captive, and Abram had been taken captive, and Abram armed his household servants for Abram and his seed, 1/10 of the firstfruits of Yahuwah, and the Lord Yahuwah ordained it as an ordinance forever, that they should give it to the priests who served before him, that they should possess it forever. And to this law there is no limit of days, for he hath ordained it for the generations forever, that they should give to Yahuwah the 10th of everything, of the seed, and of the wine, and of the oil, and of the cattle, and of the sheep. And he gave unto his priests to eat and to drink with joy before him. And the seed of Sodom came unto him, and bowed himself before him, and said, O Yahuwah, Abram, give unto us the souls which thou hast rescued, but let the booty but thine. But Abram said to him, I lift up my hands to the Most High Yahuwah, and from a thread to a shoe latchet I shall not take aught that is thine, lest thou should say, I have made Abram rich, save only what the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me in our Seshol and Mamir, these shall take their possession. I like this particular chapter, as they're referring to all the tithes that were given to the ancient priests, and the celebrations that Abram appointed for each of these things. We have the seed and the wine, the oil, and the cattle and the sheep. So we can see here that while we are missing some of that in our canon, we do find it in chapter 13 of Jubilees, which is very interesting. So that confirms some of the questions I've had over that. Wine and oil. People don't seem to know about that. So anyway, I thank you for joining me on chapter 13. Looking forward to doing chapter 14 with you here in a few minutes. And if you like this chapter and my YouTube channel, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Also in the description box you will see where I've posted links for donation or offerings through PayPal Me. Also, you can become a Patreon on Patreon, and the link for that is also below. Have a wonderful day. Today is Wednesday. It is a beautiful morning and much cooler in these parts than it has been, so I'm very thankful for that. I will bid you over and out, and have a blessed day. Yahuwah bless you and make his face to shine upon you. Thank you.